Hello and welcome to Spotlight. My name is Derek and today we are looking at the Leica Geovid 3200.com. First off, yes, I know that is a pretty silly name for a bino, but I'm going to allow it because of what these things can do. They are more than just a binocular. They are a rangefinder and they can calculate the ballistics for a rifle shot. Now the way it goes about that is really up to you. You could use the built-in ballistics inside the Leica, or via Bluetooth, you can pair it up with a Kestrel.
Teach me how to use my phone.
Basically, you would take your cell phone and you would get the Leica Hunting App, download some profiles or make your own, and then you can send them to this unit. From there, it'll sense the atmospherics, like the pressure and the temperature and the angle and all that sort of stuff, and work that into a shot. Now, it's worth saying on the app itself, if you have to set your cell phone for large text, I would turn that off while you're using the app because it kind of sends the scale of the app into a really confusing way. Now, the bino itself can hold one profile at a time, but the app on your phone can hold 20. So you can have one that's up to bat and 20 more on deck ready to be swapped in. So let's say you have a couple calibers and you want to have them at your will to put into the unit. You would get all the info for that profile, the BC, the zero, the velocity, all that stuff, and you would upload it to the binos once. After that, you can send them to and from the unit without having cell service. So here's an example. Let's say you and two of your friends are going prairie dog hunting and each of you has a different caliber suitable for the job, and you all want to be able to use them at any point during the hunt. The best thing to do is to create your profiles and send each one to the bino one time while you have cell service or Wi-Fi. Now, with that, when you're out in the field without cell service, you'd still be able to move them back and forth while they're unchanged. The reason I say that is because if you make any changes to the ballistic profiles, they have to be re-uploaded to the binocular one time while you have service. If you do not have service, you can only use the profiles that you have already made. You cannot edit them while you do not have service. Once your profile is uploaded, it's just a matter of pointing the binos at the target, hitting the right button, and it will give you the range and the ballistic solution. Now, the EHR is good if you are a bow hunter or if you have a rifle scope with turrets that are ballistically matched for yards. Now, choosing the CUST, short for custom, will fire up the ballistics on this for a rifle shot. Now, you can select 1 MOA, quarter, 1/3 MOA, as well as 10th mil or 0.05 mil clicks. But I do have a tip. If you shoot in the MOA, I would pick the 1 MOA adjustment because it will give you that result in decimal form. So it would say 12.2 MOA, which is a pretty accurate way of going about it. Now on the app, while you're setting it up, thanks to the Germans' weird sense of humor, 10th mil will be displayed as 10 millimeters per 100 meters, and the 0.05 will be noted as 5 millimeters per 100 meters. Yeah, I don't know why either. Anyway, if you forget which profile you currently have on the bino, check your app and go to the ballistics section. The profile that is uploaded will have a little gray check mark next to it. Now, with the built-in ballistics, we have seen some good accuracy, but it does have its limitations. It is only G1, and you only have it out to 1,000 yards. Now, we have seen that be within plus or minus 0.2 mils at that distance compared to the next part of this, but should you want to shoot further, or should you want G7, or to have some more inputs for your shot, you can definitely pair it up with a Kestrel with ballistics and link, and it will give you just that. Now, the manual will show you exactly how to pair these up, but basically when they are paired, the Kestrel will get the information from the Geovid as far as the range, the angle, and the heading, and it will do its own observations with its temperature and pressure sensors and all that. It'll calculate the shot using its brain, and it will display the result on its screen as well as inside the Geovid display. Now, while the Geovid can only connect with one Bluetooth device, the Kestrel can connect to many. So what you could do is have the Geovid send the range to this, and it can do its calculation, and it can send the information not only to the Geovid, but also to the Kestrel HUD as well. Now, fair warning on all this, if you are constantly running the Geovid with the display on and the Bluetooth and going back and forth, you can deplete the battery in as little as 1 day. So if you're out doing something like a prairie dog hunt or a PRS shoot or something where there's a lot going on between these two units, it is a good idea to pack an extra CR2 battery. Now, should you be just using the internal ballistics on the Geovid, you can turn off the Bluetooth and that will really extend your battery life. The one good thing about the electronics on this is that as time goes on, Leica will be able to come up with different firmware updates and that sort of thing. That way they can enhance the user friendliness of the system. Okay, that was a bit, but we're still not done yet. I do want to talk about the actual laser on this thing, because a lot of companies that make rangefinders will kind of sandbag their results. They'll kind of give you their max range under unrealistically ideal conditions. But Leica doesn't really do that. They understand that you'll be out in actual reality, not in a vacuum or some laboratory condition with the rangefinders. So when they say 3,200 yards, they mean it. Now, I have seen these things hit 3,200 yards on treetops if the bino itself is very well stabilized. And that's not really a surprise, because when you compare the 3,200.coms here to the Geovid 3000 that it replaced, it's only 200 yards further. But this one has its brain tweaked a little bit. That way it can do the extra 200 yards under a wider variety of ranging conditions. As far as beam divergence, it is 1.2 mils wide by 0.5 mil high, and that's roughly the shape and orientation of most game animals. Though if you're hunting giraffe, I would say you'd be best to just use it sideways. Realistically speaking, you're hitting a deer at about 2,000 yards max, and that's only because a deer at that distance is only taking up about 1/4 of the beam rectangle that I mentioned earlier. An elk, you'd be good to get that up to around 3,000 because it's obviously a much larger animal. Now, fired at a deer at 2,000 yards, the beam on target is basically 7 feet wide and 3 feet tall. And try as you might with your backyard deer feeder, deer are not really that big. Now, like with shooting, ranging at this distance is going to be really optimized if you have a tripod or some other really solid position. As far as the glass goes, it's a Leica. So, I mean, there's really not much else that needs to be said on that. The glass is spectacular. Finally, a word on the warranty. Now, we have this detail on our website as well, but it can basically be summed up as 10-year warranty for the electronics against accidental damage and that sort of thing, and up to a 30-year warranty for the optics and the mechanics of it. And for a really top quality bino rangefinder, I mean, 10 years for that is that's pretty impressive. Now, I realize that setting these up can be a bit tricky, so if you do have any questions about that or some more questions about the usage of these things, please give us a call and we'll help you out as best we can. All right, we've been skipping the giveaways for the last spotlight or two, but on this occasion we are giving away one of these hats, not this exact one because it's man. If you want to get your hands on one, you have to be a subscriber and you also have to leave a comment below. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll see you next week.